And today we're going to be talking about the three critical things that make up great leadership. Okay, so what are those three things? If you followed us in the Ultimate Why, you've seen this acronym before. It's knowing, emotional engagement, and promise. You think, what the heck? What does that have to do with leadership? These are the three critical elements of loving connection. And I'll get to it more, like what does loving have to do with leadership? It has everything to do with leadership. Okay, so let's dive deeper into this. Okay, so let's do a little thought experiment to illustrate these three principles first. I got my magic markers here, and we're gonna delve into it. So let's make a little person here. This is you, this little red guy here. So people that are close to you. Okay, I ask people in a lot of my talks, the people that are closest to you, they do these three things. Okay, they know you. Meaning they know your traits, your history, your personality, your strengths. All of these things, you're well known, deeply known, even your history, okay? People who have been with you for a long time know you well, hopefully. Okay, and so those people are going to be close to you. People that are emotionally engaging. They project a, hey, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad to be with you. They project a safety. You're safe with me, which is particularly important in the workplace. That's the number one thing to project first and foremost emotionally in the workplace is psychological safety. So you feel safe, you feel welcomed, and there's some sense that I'm going to be there for you in that emotional engagement, okay? So those people, like children, spouses, they're going to be really tight, close to you, okay? And then the third is promise. They answer the question, are you going to be faithful to me? Are you going to be there for me in the future? Are you going to grow into the person? Are we going to grow closer together in the future? Those are big promises, and those are the things that leadership needs to project. Okay, so these are the people. I ask people to rate relationships according to this, and you'll find that the closest in relationships are highly knowing, highly emotionally engaging, and highly full of keeping huge promises. Like your parents are willing to sacrifice for you. Okay, your friends will help you move. Friends might be maybe a secondary line. Your close friends, your best friends, but they'll be there with you when you're in need emotionally. They listen. They're there. They're close to you. You feel safe with them. You feel like you can laugh together in fun. You get each other. You can just say a single word and start laughing, and know what's going on. And then you have people that are maybe out into this realm that are decent acquaintances. You know that they're going to project safety to you. They're emotionally pretty well put together, and you feel good around them. And if you ask them to do something, they'll either say no, I can't do that, and so they're safe with their promises. And then there's people out here that you don't know, or perhaps that have let you down on occasion. And then, I'll put these little dark horses way out here. These are people that have broken promises, who have not been emotionally engaging with you. These people have, they don't know you. Even though they've been around you for a long time, they still make mistakes because they don't understand anything about you, okay? They're not safe. They're people that you don't really particularly care for. They're out here. So here's the critical engagement. So you have this map of people in your life. These people are what we call very closely attached to you. These people are unattached. In fact, you might want to avoid them. Okay? So think about this. Which people are most willing to do things for you? The people that are closest into you. Which people are you as a person most willing to do things for them? It's this group in here, okay? The more highly attached, meaning loving connection, that you are with another individual, the more you're willing to sacrifice for them, the more that you're willing to do things for them, and the more that you will become like them. Okay, this is critical. So this might be an ironic sense or a place for a book to get this from. This is from a PhD psychologist, Gordon Neufeld, and co-author Gordon Mate. An amazing book. It's called Hold On to Your Kids. You're thinking, what does Hold On to Your Kids have to do with leadership and with in the workplace, in an organization. The key element here is that he says that there's a problem in our today's society because children bond with each other. We've let particularly adolescents become connected, attachment right here. So parents have moved out of this circle, and we have just, immature kids attaching with immature kids. And what happens? They become like each other. They begin to obey each other and begin to shun the parents. And so we no longer have these mature individuals nurturing and mentoring the immature to become mature adults. We have immaturity, maturity, bonding with immaturity. And what happens? They start doing foolish things. So he says that in those cultures, in those places where parents maintain a high degree of attachment, there's a greater a following of a mature individual into a mature adult life. And it's a much safer, much better place to go, but much better path. So the critical principle here is attachment. We become like those that care most for us. We become like, we obey, we do things for, we will follow those that we are most attached to. So just as we did that little thought experiment, who would you most sacrifice for? For my children, I would lay down my life. I would give them all of my money so that they would survive. The same thing is probably for them. When I get old, they'll take care of me. They'll do sacrifice for me. And close friends, like if they need me, I'd go, I'd drop things, I'd go do things for them. So think about it. There are leaders that are probably on this level that have known you well, have treated you well, that you're like, I'd follow them. They loved me. So this is a key. As leaders, we need to love, not just tell people what to do. It's the other way around. After that relationship is built, when you ask something, people will follow. People will do. It's not a manipulative, because people willingly do this. It's our operating system as human beings that people in these tighter circles, we follow one another. We support one another. We do things for one another. You see how that will create, this type of closeness creates a great culture. If you've got just people out here that have no relationship with whom they're leading, and they're using power over to try to command by fear, it might work. You might be able to make lots of money even. But you're not utilizing the basic operating system of human beings. You're neglecting how we operate as human beings. These aren't true leaders. These are dictators, okay? Maybe at best, mechanical managers. That doesn't mean that leaders in this circle, particularly within organizations, don't do good management, because if I'm a manager, I have a lot of promises that I need to keep to you as an employee. I need to tell you what is expected of you. I need to supply you with the supplies that you need to do your job. I need to put you in a place that I know that you're strong with. If I start to break down those promises as a leader in an organization, I start to neglect all this. And the person doesn't feel connected to you. Okay? So there's a lot of things within the organizational structure that are unique to this kind of keep structure that we'll talk about more in other relationships. But the key thing that I want to get across to you this time is that leaders love. Leaders love first. That's what comes first. And then people will begin to not even just follow. It's a relationship. It becomes a mutual thing. You work together towards goals and ends. You see how this generates an amazing culture? You see how this is when every leader starts to generate this on their team and begins to build an atmosphere where trust and emotional engagement and knowing and promise thrive and live and be. This is where people thrive. This is where healthy relationships and leadership happens. So that's the key 3 principles for leadership. If you want to be a great leader, you have to know the people that you're working with. You have to understand their traits, their personality, their history, their strengths, their values, what makes them tick. You have to emotionally engage with them, okay? And a lot of times that's just being candid. It's being clear. that's being consistent. Those are the foundational things that you need to do in your emotional engagement in an organizational structure. And then you need to keep your promises. If you're not keeping your promises as a leader, if you're overwhelmed and trying to take on too many things, you need to say no to some things so that you can keep your promises well, so that everyone in your organization trusts each other. So these are the three critical things for leadership, three critical things, because leaders make culture. Those are the three critical things that we need to do in our organizations every week. So thanks very much for following us. And follow us on social media, follow us here on YouTube, and we hope you enjoy this. And if you have any questions, shoot us an email, engage with us on social media. We'd be happy to answer your questions. All right, well, have a great week.